Welcome to Wildflower Books. It's me, Meg, and today I'm in my new library. I don't know if I'll have a video on that up before or after this one goes up, but I did redo all of my shelves. I got new shelves, bigger shelves, taller shelves, and it has completely transformed this room and I'm so happy with it. But today what I want to talk about is my most anticipated releases of 2025. I think 3 of the books I'm going to talk about have already come out, and I own 2 of them. So we'll start off with Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. This is book 3 in the Big Shot series by Tessa Bailey. It is a sports romance series, and this might be my favorite so far. I did really love book 1. Book 2 was kind of a miss for me. It was fine. But book 3 I absolutely loved, and we follow Sig and Chloe here, who meet. They have a connection, they clearly like each other, there's attraction, there's something there, but that's all for now. And the next time they run into each other, unfortunately, it's at a family dinner. Chloe's mother is planning to marry Sig's dad. Now, his dad is very estranged. Sig did not grow up around his father. He didn't really have a strong relationship with his father, so I find this a lot less weird, but I guess there's some moral ambiguity around a relationship between future potential step siblings. Also, these are adult characters who do not grow up together and their parents are not yet married. However, Sig is a professional hockey player, so he's in the limelight a lot, and his organization, like the hockey team he works for specifically, finds this to be potentially troublesome. So Sig is, like I said, a professional hockey player. He's also trying to help Chloe break out on her own. She's quite sheltered. She is a harp player, and she's trying to create a name for herself and a life for herself outside of her mother's umbrella. So I absolutely loved this. I got it from the bookstore. The little bookmark is falling out. It's called The Next Chapter in Long Island. Tessa Bailey lives on Long Island, and so she offered with this bookstore to do like personalized signed pre-orders. So I was able to get that. Super happy with it. There's really pretty sprayed edges, but I don't think it's going to focus enough on this size, but it's just really pretty. I'm super happy to have it, and this was definitely one of my most anticipated books, and now one of my favorites, which is so fun. Next up, these came out, I have 2 books that came out on February 11th, I believe. So the first is Scythe and Sparrow by Brynne Weaver. This is book 3 in the Ruinous Love trilogy. We follow the 3rd brother of the group, Fionn, and his love interest is Rose. Fionn is very different from his brothers. They sort of have a loose relationship with the law. Sometimes for like morality purposes, sometimes just like for money. It's a business. And Fionn is different from that. His brothers really made an effort once they moved to America to make sure that Fionn doesn't fall into maybe like criminality or retribution, as I like to say. They're serial retributionists. So anyway, Fionn is a doctor. He has kind of a normal life in Nebraska, and one day he finds a very injured girl in his clinic. That is Rose. Rose is not a carny, but she works for the circus. She rides motorcycles, she pulls tarot cards. She's a very relatable but eccentric character, and I absolutely love her. She's very she seems like an accident prone kind of person. She can't really get through kind of the gnarly situations that she gets herself into. She needs someone to help pull her out sometimes. So I just really like this couple. The book takes place over a long period of time. So we're seeing stuff from book 1, book 2, this book. It all sort of meshes together in the timelines, which I think is really interesting. And someone on Instagram built this like compendium of how to read chapter to chapter within the timeline of this world. And I thought that was so interesting. Will I ever do it? I don't know. But I do like that. It's a bit long. I didn't mind it. I know some people think, especially with a romance-centric book, that it should be shorter. I loved every minute of it. It is a slow burn. There is some miscommunication, which I do not love, but it works here. And I just think Brynne Weaver is such a special author. I was really lucky that she did an event here in Atlanta. So actually this copy that I got is from a local all romance bookstore. It's the only one here in the area. And they had her do a stop. So she offered signed copies, and this was sort of your ticket into the event. So we were able to meet her. We were able to take pictures with her. It was really cool. She did a Q&A. She just seems like, again, like Ro, like a very relatable person. She rides motorcycles. She is just like a really cool girl, and she says the wildest stuff, like the wildest stuff. So if you're not familiar with these books, maybe read her content warnings, which are absolutely hilarious, and just see if it might be for you. I love them. Next book would be Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. And this is the third and final book of the Emily Wilde series. We follow Emily and Wendell into Fairy. Wendell is taking over his kingdom. He's going to be king. Emily will then be queen. They are not married yet, but he did wear her down, and they are going to be getting married. This book is interesting. Emily's goal here, you know, like in the first book, she wanted her encyclopedia of fairies. In the second book, she was trying to map the world of fairy. And in this one, she's trying to compile the lost stories of fairy. So there's a lot of commonplace stories, but she wants to meet with the actual people of fairy and hear their stories and hear the ones they really tell and the ones they really believe. And there's conflict. There are troubles with the land, trouble with Wendell's stepmother, who we thought was gone, but maybe she isn't quite gone. His stepsister is then causing a lot of trouble for him, and it just didn't have the same feeling, the same life of the first two books. And I did like it, but for the final book of this series, it fell a little flat for me. I do think they're still worth it. I think they are wonderful books. I am waiting for the Barnes & Noble special edition with like the beautiful deckled edges. I think I've shown the copies I have before of the first two books. I'm waiting for that one to come out before I purchase it, because I just cannot do the hardcovers. It's not my style at all. It is not my aesthetic at all. So I'm just patiently waiting for that to come so it can sit with the others somewhere way up here on my shelf and look beautiful. All right, I have to get to my notes now. All right, next up, coming out on March 11th, is Fan Service by Rosie Danon. Rosie also wrote Do Your Worst, which I read in 2024. I absolutely loved it. It's kind of a paranormal romance, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. So when I saw that there was another book coming out from Rosie, I clicked pre-order so fast. So it seems like in this tale, we have Alex, who is like a super fan of this TV show called The Arcane Files. I believe it's called The Arcane Files. And it is a werewolf detective program. So she has become internet famous for being, or for creating, this super fan group on the internet. And she's like cataloged everything from all the episodes. So she seems to be the premier expert on the show. The show is canceled. And the star of this show is Devin Ashwood, who it turns out Alex kind of hates him. The only thing in the blurb says, don't meet your heroes. So I don't know, like, if they had met before and had a bad encounter. That's what I'm assuming. But Devin is sort of floundering after the show is canceled. His star is sort of fading, you could say. And one morning he wakes up naked in the woods near his LA home. And I think there's like a super blood wolf full moon. Something crazy happens, right? And he's thinking like, why do I have claws? What's going on? So he enlists the help of the only person he thinks that would have all of the knowledge about becoming a werewolf for real, which is Alex. And like I said before, she is not into him. She might be a super fan of the show, but she's not a super fan of this man. So I think it's just their journey to figure out what's going on with him, and they probably fall in love. And I do love an enemies to lovers type romance, so I'm really looking forward to that one. On March 18th, we have book 4 of the Dream Harbor series, and I believe that is called The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. This is going to be the story of Iris and Archer. I have to say I've read all three of the books. One I loved, the other two were fine. So book 4, I am excited for it, but I'm really looking forward to book 5 more than anything. So Iris and Archer are a couple here. Iris is sort of flighty. She's not really the type of person who holds down a steady job. And then we have Archer, who is kind of a famous chef, but also a single father. He moves to Dream Harbor when there's an opening and a need for a chef. And while it's not his normal environment, it also provides a sense of community and people who will help him raise his daughter. And I think that's what he's looking for more than anything. So I believe it's the nosy mayor. If you've read the series, you know all about the mayor. He sort of says, oh, you need a live-in nanny? How about Iris? Iris is not into it, but I think after she meets Archer, she's like, ooh, maybe. So she is going to be the live-in nanny for his daughter, Olive. Love that name. Oh my God, love it. So cute. And then I guess, you know, love ensues. So it's kind of a nanny forced proximity romance. March 20th, which you'll probably realize is not a Tuesday. Most of these are Tuesday releases. Save Your Breath will be coming out by Candy Steiner. This is book 4 in her series. I can't remember the name of the series. If it comes to me, I will put it here, or I'll look for it and I'll put it here. These are hockey romances, and they are actually heavy on the hockey, which is one thing I really appreciate about them. Sometimes sports romances are just like, this guy's a professional football player. There's your sports romance, and I like the hockey aspect. So I think I found this first one on KU, the first in the series on KU maybe 2 years ago when I was really beginning my romance journey and I wasn't a hater anymore. And I loved it. I loved it. So I think every March since, she has released a new book in the series. And this March is no exception. I don't know if I said it already. It's called Save Your Breath. Our characters here, from what I can understand, are high school friends. They were friends in high school. And since one has become a famous hockey player and one has become like a massive pop star. So somebody's publicist has the idea that to improve the images of both of them, I don't know why our pop star would need to improve her public image, but I do know our hockey player is a little bit of a bad boy and he's like, mm. So this is fake dating, convenience dating kind of thing. And I think they always had feelings for each other. So it might also be sort of second chance. To me, it doesn't matter. If Candy Steiner wrote the phone book, I would probably pick it up and read it. On April 8th, we have 2 releases, or I have 2 releases that I'm interested in. I'm sure a lot more books are coming out. First up is Enchantra, which is book 2 of the Phantasma. Well, it's in the same world as Phantasma. I really cannot tell. It's being billed as book 2, but I cannot tell if they're just interconnected standalones or if Kaylee Smith really means for it to be a series. So this book is going to center around Genevieve, which is sister to, what is the character in our first book? Ophelia. I got there. And she is invited to Enchantra, which is a house in Italy, kind of a haunted gothic-y house. And once she enters, similar to Phantasma, she's thrown into this game of survival, basically, and the last alive wins. She meets Rowan there, and because Rowan says, I am the most dangerous of all the Silvers, you could never win unless you marry me, they get freaking fake married. Real married, but like fake relationship. I don't know, it's a like fantasy romance, y'all. I'll probably read it and love it and forget the plot in 48 to 72 hours. But I'm super excited for it, and it's beautiful. It looks beautiful. Another coming out on April 8th is The Folklore of Forever. This is book 2 in what I believe is called the Moonville series. It's by Sarah Hogle. I did read book 1, which was Old Flames and New Fortunes, kind of a second chance romance, but with witchy stuff. So book 2 follows one of our sisters, Zelda. I believe there are 3 sisters, if I remember correctly. 2 are witchy, and then there's Zelda, and Zelda is like not a believer, which is hard when her sisters are so witchy. And basically, Zelda, I think, is the sister that has moved back to town, to Moonville, Ohio. And her neighbor is trying to make her a believer, I guess. So they go on these little like ghost quests, and they actually realize, or Zelda discovers, that she can see these creatures that other people only perceive as regular sort of household pets or maybe everyday animals. So clearly something weird is going on, and Zelda is going to become a believer. If she doesn't, I can't even think of it. It's not going to happen. She will become a believer, and then her cute little angel neighbor Morgan will be there for all of it. So I do remember liking book one quite a lot. I don't know if it was love, but I did like it. So I'm excited for this one to come out too. When I saw it was coming, I was really excited because I think it's been quite a few years. So this has been a long time coming. April 15th, I also have two books. The first is Wild and Wrangled, which is book 4 of the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. It's a second chance romance between Camille Ashwood and Dusty Tucker. Cam, we have seen throughout the series, she is Gus's baby mama. And I really like her. She seems kind of like a no-nonsense person. I like the way she and Gus like co-parent. But Cam is getting married. We've known that throughout the whole series. She has a fiance. Like, this has been well known. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know, her fiance leaves her at the altar. And it seems like something we did not know before is that Cam was only marrying this guy to secure her child's future. Again, something that I'm looking forward to understanding, because Gus is a great dad. He is, in all respects, the heir apparent to Rebel Blue Ranch. So I'm not 100% sure what her motives were for marrying this guy. But anyway, he leaves her at the altar. Sounds like a real scumbag. And now Cam has, she doesn't even have a home to go to, right? So she ends up finding this house that in town in Meadowlark that she's always loved, and it's for rent. But the problem is Dusty Tucker is back in town. He has moved back to Meadowlark, and he is her next door neighbor. Dusty has it bad for Cam, and he always has. But now that she's single and living next door, he feels like he really has a chance again. I'm so excited about this. I'm not usually drawn, I should say, to second chance romance. I love an enemies to lover, or just, you know, like strangers meet cute. But this sounds so good to me, and Lila Sage has not let me down. All 3 of her books have been incredible, the last of which was just amazing. I love how she writes romance. I love that we don't have the classic third act breakup. There may be some mild miscommunication, but these characters are adults, and they act like adults. They have jobs, they have bills to pay. Like, they just feel so much more real, and it's not that sort of toxic, sickly, over the top miscommunication, all of that stuff. Like, you really get a real relationship, and I'm so excited. I was hoping to be able to see her on tour. When she is on tour in April, she's incredible. She's offering to sign as many books as you can bring to one of her events. She will personalize up to 4 of them, which is cool because there are 4 books out right now with this one. And I don't know, she just seems like such a cool girl. I would love to meet her. I don't think it's gonna work out, but stay tuned, maybe, who knows. So I'm dying to read that. I did sign up for an ARC. I have not heard back yet. Pray for me. And next, coming out on the 15th of April, something totally new to me is Murder by Cheesecake. I cannot remember the author now. I will put, everything will be here, and all of the links will be listed below, so don't hate me, but I can't remember. It is a Golden Girls murder mystery. I am buzzing. I love the Golden Girls. I grew up watching the Golden Girls with my great aunt. Oh God, I'm just so excited. So basically what we have, Rose is throwing a traditional St. Olaf style wedding at this hotel. And if everything doesn't go just right, you know, the couple will start off on a bad foot, or the people of St. Olaf will be just devastated that their traditions are not upheld. Like, there's whatever, some kind of, you know, huge pressure on Rose to make this weird St. Olaf wedding work. And Dorothy, in constant need of a date, needs a date for the wedding. This guy turns out to be like really obnoxious and annoying. He also turns up dead in one of the hotel refrigerators. I'm dying. I cannot wait for this. It seems amazing. So I believe with Dorothy as the #1 suspect, the girls are going to have to riddle this one out, and maybe without the help of the police, on their own renegade style, solve this crime. I'm here for it. I hope this is a series. I hope that someone makes like 800,000 of them, like Murder, She Wrote style, because I am here for it. I love these characters. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I know it won't disappoint. I only have one book in the month of May, and that comes out May 2nd. It is called The Night and the Moth, and it's by Rachel Gillig. To be transparent, I have not read her duology or duet that she wrote. A One Dark Window, I believe, is the first book. I have not read those yet, but I've only heard great things about it. It's not a lack of interest. It's an overwhelm of TBR. So I do hope to read those, and maybe even before this comes out. But this is a new romantasy. The cover is gorgeous. And in this book, we have a young prophetess who has to team up with a knight that maybe has like an attitude problem. So Sybil is a diviner, and she receives her visions of the future through dreams, and they come to her from the omens, which are kind of like the gods, I think, in this world. So through her vision, she's able to mitigate like sort of these terrible things to come, and that makes her highly sought after. Now, unfortunately, her fellow diviners start disappearing, and she's no one to turn to except this guy, Roderick, who is the rude knight that has showed up around this same time, which makes me wonder, like, does he have something to do with it, or does he know what's going on? So again, it's a romantasy. It sounds very interesting to me, and I cannot get over the cover. The covers always draw me in. They just do. So this sounds like another really good one to me. I think it's highly anticipated by a lot of people. I don't have any releases for June that I'm looking forward to. There might be some. I'm probably missing like tons of books. But the next thing that caught my eye comes out July 15th. I hope, fingers freaking crossed. This book was supposed to come out in April. It was supposed to come out in November of 2024, maybe October of 2024. It keeps getting pushed out. And if this gets pushed out again, I don't know if I can take it. But I am talking about, of course, A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana, who also wrote A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I believe that's the title, which I loved. In this newest release by Sangu, we have Sarah, who is a super powerful witch in her guild. I think the guild is, or her guild is basically like her coven. But what happens is Sarah's aunt dies, and Sarah, being the powerful witch she is, decides to resurrect her very recently deceased aunt, and then proceeds to lose her magic, make friends with an iffy, maybe not so great ne'er-do-well fox, and everything goes haywire. It all goes downhill from there. So without her magic, Sarah's forced to now work in an inn that her aunt runs, a little begrudgingly. She's like not super happy about it. And one day she comes across a spell to restore her magic. Also, I think around this time we have this magical historian who comes to stay at the inn, and he's super not interested in getting involved. I'm sure he gets roped in. I'm sure he and Sarah live happily ever after. So I cannot wait. I love a little witchy paranormal romance. So cute. There are 2 releases in August. The first is August 5th. We have The Fallen and The Kiss of Dusk. It is book 4 in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, but book 2 in the Shadowborn duet. So we're following Asar and Misha. Misha has made the ultimate sacrifice for Asar while they're in the underworld, and he is lost without her. So they're separated, but then an offer from a goddess sets them out on a new journey. And I think the gods are starting to rumble. They're going to be at war. The underworld is sort of crumbling. Things are bad, as they tend to be in these books. It's always darkest before the dawn. I love Carissa Broadbent. I love this series. I never thought of myself as a big fantasy person, especially fantasy romance, but I have absolutely loved this series. I'm so excited for book 4. I love Misha. I do think there are 2 more books coming that we're going to get a third couple to round it out as a 6-book series, 3 sets of duets, if that makes sense. I believe that's how it's going to be. So I'm looking forward to it. I think Misha and Asar are going to have to decide what they're willing to sacrifice for love. And I love that because there's always a great way out. There's always a good catch. The next August book I have is coming out August 12th, and that is Heartstrings by Ivy Fairbanks. It is book 2 in the, I believe her series is called Love in Galway. Book 1 was Morbidly Yours, which I loved. I think I raved about that in a video already. So this book follows Lo, who is Lark's cousin, Lark from book 1. She is in Galway for medical school. She meets a guy, Aidan, who is a barrister, which is just like an attorney, but he's also a musician. For some reason, that relationship doesn't seem to work out, so this is a second chance romance. Aidan has transitioned into like a full-on musician now. He has an album out. All the songs he writes are about Lo, and I'm sure it's going to be great. I think Ivy Fairbanks does a really wonderful job of romance and making the romance lighthearted, but also bringing in these heavier themes, but you don't feel down about them. It's very enlightening. I think they're really fun. I think they're really sweet. And life is hard. People have their own demons that they're working through in every relationship. And I like when authors make characters feel real. So this is no exception. I cannot wait. I did also sign up for an arc of this and I haven't heard back yet. And fingers crossed. I think it's going to be so good. Her covers also do not disappoint. They're beautiful. September 2nd, we have Hansel and Gretel by Stephen King. Now, I've just seen the cover of this and it looks very un-Stephen King, if you know what I mean. But it turns out Maurice Sendak, who illustrated Where the Wild Things Are, is illustrating this Hansel and Gretel picture book retold by Stephen King. I don't know much more about it than that. This is, I'll have the cover here so that you can see it. It's very interesting, and once you realize that Sendak has illustrated it, it sort of makes more sense. I can't wait. I'm sure it'll be classic Stephen King style, and I really look forward to that. On the 16th, we have The Gingerbread Bakery, and that is book 5 in the Dream Harbor series. I have been waiting for Mac and Annie's story since book 1. Like I said before, I love an enemies to lovers romance. That's what we're getting here. I just know it is going to be rife with tension and angst, and I am here for it. So Jeannie and Logan are getting married. They are from book 1. We are on book 5 at this point. They're getting married. Annie's gonna make the cake. Mac is going to be a menace to Annie, I'm sure, and I just can't wait to see where it goes. This is the book I've been waiting for. So I've patiently gotten through the other ones. Strawberry Pancake House, that one is coming out next month from right now. I will read it. I will get through it. I have just been waiting for Annie and Mac, though. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be great. The last book up in September comes out September 30th, and it is called What Stalks the Deep. This is book 3, which I did not know we were going to have in the Sworn Soldier series by, that is hard to say, by T. Kingfisher. The first book was What Moves the Dead, and the second book, I believe, was What Feasts at Night. And these are about main character Alex, a sworn soldier who solves these sort of paranormal, peculiar mysteries. And I do really like them. I really like them. I love everything T. Kingfisher does, but these are special. They're very gothic. They're very dark. They're very eerie, and I love that. So this book follows Alex as they travel to America. Super not interested in traveling to America, and definitely not a haunted coal mine in West Virginia. But when Alex's old friend Dr. Denton calls and says, I need your help, doesn't call, probably sends a letter. But when Dr. Denton reaches out to Alex and says, I need your help, my cousin is missing in these freaking mines, Alex has no choice but to go. I think it's going to be great. I love Alex. Alex is very awkward to me sometimes, which can create a lot of maybe unintended humor. And I just love T. Kingfisher. I will read anything she writes. I am slowly but surely working my way through her backlist, and anything new that comes out, I'm immediately just gonna grab up. So really looking forward to that one as well. Guys, October 7th, Mockingbird Court, book 6 of the Shady Hollow series is coming. I wasn't sure if we were getting another book from Juno Black. I never know, because it always says like book 5 of 5, book 6 of 6. So when I heard that this book is coming out, I was elated. As you know, if you've spent any length of time here or on my Instagram or with me in person, you know that I absolutely rave about the Shady Hollow series. They are such a fun mystery series about woodland creatures living in a community together and solving crimes. This book will be no exception. It is set in fall, autumn, and the town is preparing for the annual Harvest Festival. So there's a lot of people coming in and out. It's a great place to be anonymous. Unless you're a super famous author and also a wolf named Bradley Marvel. Bradley might be on the run. A body was found in Bradley's penthouse apartment in Mockingbird Court, and we don't know what happened. I have a feeling Bradley probably isn't the person that the police think he is, and Vera's probably going to help him get out of a tight spot. I cannot wait. The cover has not been revealed yet, and I am dying for that cover. Let's see, the rest are up here. I don't know what color this is going to be. I'm going to guess orange. Maybe a type of burnt orange would be nice. I'm so excited for this. I can't wait for the cover reveal. I cannot wait for it to be released. I'm going to absolutely devour it. Hello, pardon the interruption. Actually, the day before this video was set to go live, I noticed that there is a cover now for Mockingbird Court, book 6 in the Shady Hollow series. I'm gonna put it here. I was way off on the orange. It looks to me like it's gonna be gray, and I really like it. It's super vibrant, fits in exactly with the other copies. I would expect no less. So back to the rest of the video. Sorry for the interruption. Coming in October 14th specifically, is going to be Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, book 4 of the Harry Potter series in the Scholastic Interactive version. These were previously illustrated and created by Mina Lima. She did the first 3 books. They have a new illustrator for book 4. I don't know if the same person is going to complete this series, but I do already have the first 3 books, so I'm looking forward to completing that series. I hope they finish it, however it has to happen. All right, last up, on November 11th, 2025, Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree will be coming out. This is book 3 of the Legends and Lattes books. I don't know if that's what the series is called, but I do believe this character may have been in book 2, which was actually the prequel. And that character is a ratkin, which I love the ratkins, okay? She's a ratkin called Fern, who is a bookseller. I believe Viv met her, like I said, in the prequel. And she's sort of burnt out. She's sort of over it. So she wants to make a change and move to Thune and set up shop next door to Viv in her coffee shop. And won't that be so cute? And we'll get like our little montage of, you know, creating the store like we do with Viv. But things will go as planned. And after a night out of like heavy drinking, Fern gets roped into this sort of crew to go on a quest. The synopsis of this book was a little bit like a fever dream to me, so I don't know if I fully understand what's going on or what to expect. I'm just so happy that there's going to be more of these books. I really enjoyed book 1. I have not read the prequel yet. I think that's called Bookshops and Bone Dust. But I do love this very slice of life fantasy. There's not a ton of plot-driven chapters. It's just sort of a fun, these are the characters, this is what's happening in their day, this is what we're adding to the menu now. It's very comforting to me. Now, that wraps up the books that I know of that I'm excited about. There could be many, many more, and there probably are, but these are the ones that I'm most excited about. I've pre-ordered most of them as well, or have plans to purchase them when they come out. You know, you gotta get those Barnes & Noble special editions. So I hope that you found a book that interests you. Maybe you heard about something that you weren't aware of before, and now you're gonna go pre-order it. I will put all of the links below for all of these books if you wanna pre-order them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope it was fun for you. It was really fun for me. I've been dying to talk about these books with somebody, and so I'm glad you were here to spend that time with me. Thanks.